Hey, good morning to you. It's Daybreak at iFiber One. Jeff Slakey, Vicky Steele. Morning, Vicky.
Good morning,
Got
Jeff.
a great guest in studio right now. It's Shelton Mayor Gary Cronce. Good morning, Mayor.
Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning.
So we had the big Basin 3 groundbreaking, and what an exciting time for that in general for the city to help with the sewer systems and the pipes and everything here in the community. But the other exciting piece is that you have been working very hard over the years to secure as much grant funding as possible. And we know grant funding comes often in percentages and with matches and things like that. But this project, after about 6 years, you were able to get it 100% grant funded. So talk to me a little bit about that. And you had a flyer that you were putting out to folks at the groundbreaking with your steps on there. So let's go through these.
All right. Well, first, what I want to say is thank you very much for having me this morning. I've got a little cold, so I'll just try and work past that. This was a collaborated effort that started probably 5.5, 6 years ago by many partners. And what happens, generally speaking, in infrastructure funding is a city really needs to get the project done. And so they go and the state says, well, here's $1 million grant and here's a $5 million low interest loan. And, you know, let's all work together. And the city goes, okay, $1 million grant and $5 million loan. Let's just do that. That generally is what happens. And we, the city of Shelton, had borrowed so much money, $50 million, that we just at that time said, well, maybe we can go and negotiate a better deal. We just cannot afford. We've been done so many of these basins, and it's good that they're all done, but we really needed some financial help at that time. And so we started a process of, and I've got the points kind of listed here, but I think what I'll do is, I think I'll go over these points as I'm talking, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
All right. So first, what we needed to do is we needed to make sure, and this is like the 6-point program. And how this happened is this Association of Washington Cities asked me a month ago to say, hey, you guys got 100% grant funding. How did you do it? All of our other mayors want to know how you do this. And so they asked me to come and speak and just give them a little rundown. Yeah. It took a long time, and it was a lot of effort. But what we did is, right in the beginning, we developed a close relationship with our state legislators. Tim Sheldon, Drew McEwen, Dan Griffey. You know, we all see them at all the parties, and we have, lunches, and we have meetings. And so we really said to them, we really need significant grant funding for this project.
How often that you saw them do you think you brought this up to them?
Well, they got a little annoyed. They really did. Yeah, that's kind of the rumor. They call me like a bulldog or something. And so I just knew when I was running for mayor that we could not continue to borrow our way into prosperity. We had to, at some point, stop borrowing and start trying to find other avenues of money. And so, I went over, probably 3 years ago, I think I went over every week or every other week. And I was right there at Tim Sheldon's office smiling with my flowers and just really trying to continue to let them know how serious this was. So by developing that strong relationship, that's a key thing. Yeah. If you're a city and you want to find grant money and stuff, you got to be on the same page with your legislators. Sure. Okay, and next we have an association that we call it AWC, but for the listeners, that's called Association of Washington Cities. And it's a big organization, and they have legal and they have lobbyists that help cities with their issues. And so we worked closely with the AWC lobbyists, and they were on the same page with our legislators. So when we go to talk to our senator and our representatives, we were talking to the lobbyists at the same time, said, look, we really need this. And this was 5.5 years ago when we started this. Yeah. And so but that's not all you need to do. We also ran around, and what we did is we as a city formed it's a sewer funding coalition, and you've heard about that. I probably talked about that 3 or 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And what that was reaching out across the state through AWC and identifying other cities that were going through the same problem, especially cities that probably don't have a high income base, that were faced with multi-million-dollar infrastructure projects. And so we formed that Sewer Funding Coalition. And we networked with them at our AWC meetings to talk about what we were doing and how we were doing things. And we had cards printed up so that when they went to their legislators, they were talking the same issue. Because this is a big deal. Seattle, Tacoma, I mean, they got billions of dollars for these things, and it's just a walk in the park. But for small cities that have to replace everything, like we've had to do, you really need help. And so we formed that, and that gave us kind of like the ability to go in and talk to the governor and talk to the director of ecology, Maya Bellin. She wanted to hear from us because we had a coalition, and so that was. And it wasn't my idea. Somebody actually said we needed to form a coalition, and we thought, oh, okay, well, we need all the help we can get. Yeah. So we formed that, and we were not afraid to negotiate a position with the Department of Ecology. Went right over there, and it took me 2 or 3 months to get a face-to-face with the director of Department of Ecology, a very busy lady. And I sat down with her, and I just said, look, we have... in our office, we have a wall of plaques from the Department of Ecology on all of the wonderful things we've done. This time, we really need help from you. And I said, I either need more time or we need more money. And she heard my plea, and she heard that we just could not continue to borrow millions of dollars. So she gave us an enormous timeline. She gave us up to 5 years to get this done.
Wow.
And so with a lot of cities, they don't know that sometimes if you're really in a financial dire straits, you need to go and talk directly to these department heads to let them really know that you need this. And so we did that. And the next is to surround ourselves with others facing the same situations, which is the Sewer Funding Coalition.
Yeah.
And
do you think that by having the coalition, it brought the light more so than just a singular small community like ours, or the whole coalition the state then goes, wow, there is a statewide issue here.
Absolutely. It brought credibility to the issue. Yeah. So
it wasn't just you saying, hey, we need money, or woe is me, it's just a little less. It's the whole state in smaller municipalities.
It was one of the part of the puzzle that got us this 100%, one of the parts. Yeah. And again, so I would be over in the Capitol, and a legislator or a lobbyist would say, hey, oh yeah, you're that sewer guy.
Yeah.
Well, I got a face-to-face with the governor of the state of Washington for 45 minutes on this issue because of that we had that. So, and it's not easy to make appointments as a small mayor in a small city with the governor of the state of Washington. And we had a long conversation about this being an issue that small cities we haven't got the income to just do all this stuff. And so it was a good conversation, and that helped. The Sewer Funding Coalition brought credibility to our issue statewide. On item number 5, now this is very important because when the Association of Washington Cities asked me to come and kind of talk to our mayors about how you do this, I sat down with Craig Gregory and I says, okay, look, I've got these points and these things. Help me. Let's go over this. And he helped me put this together. And one of the important things that he shared with me is that make sure you impart your vision to the staff to ensure that we're all on the same page. Sure. Remember, unity, there's power in numbers. So that was another very crucial part of this because we had a staff that wasn't rushing to get the project done. We had a staff that knew they had a goal, 100% grant funding. And remember, when we started this 5 years ago, nobody believed it was possible.
Right.
Everybody laughed. Everybody says, you can't possibly do it. It won't work. Nobody's ever done it and all of that stuff. And to be honest, I didn't think we could do it either. I mean, I thought I was hoping for 60 or 70 or 80% or 90 or whatever.
As much
really.
As you could get.
Well, absolutely. Because, and this is very important, when you borrow money, that directly goes to the sewer rates. You got to raise those sewer rates. And what kind of in this process, somewhere I think it was around 3 or 4 years ago, we actually raised the rates 39%.
Yeah.
Unheard of. That one really said, we got to go for this. And that also, I believe, helped us with the conversation with Department of Ecology and with the governor of the state. And so if we can raise it 39% in just one shot, we got to have a real plan on how we don't ever do that again.
Yeah, that's quite a.
And
That is big.
yeah, real big one.
Yeah.
And we heard from our people. So the good news, the past 2 years, no increase to sewer rates,
Nice.
0. Now I have to let everybody know I fought real hard to lower those rates, but I'm only one commissioner. And so we did not choose to do that. We at least agreed to keep them on the same level. And so I am still pushing to lower those rates. And we will see with the new 7-person council how they feel about this. But there's 2 objectives. One is to lower your city debt, which we have in the past 2 years by, I think it's $6 or $7 million. So very good accomplishment for the city of Shelton. Also getting high 100% on our grant funding on our projects. And those are 2 opposing goals, because one is you're getting income and one's you're spending. And so you kind of got to work that out. We've been able to do it for the past 2 years, so hopefully we can.
Tell me the story about the day you heard that it would be 100% fully funded.
Well, it was a historical moment. I mean, I don't know. You can go back and check it out and see how many cities do this. And there are probably some, I think, but it's pretty amazing. And not only this is just the tip of the iceberg, because we found a process.
Yeah.
We've got, and so on our roundabout over there, I believe, over there by Mickey's Deli, I think that one is going to be close to 100% also.
Oh, nice.
And then we are looking at other projects, and we are planning now more ahead and working the system out. And so with leadership from Craig Gregory, a wonderful public works director, I really can't say enough fantastic things about how he is managing that department. Now, item number 6, the last one, just because I can see in his eyes when he's going to cut me off. Here's the big thing, and this is where almost everybody fails on this. Here's the deal: never give up.
Yep.
Never give up, because on that last day, this last session, we got $3 million. And so that's how we did it. It was a collaborated effort by many, many parties, and I just did my job in that area.
Well,
And
congratulations. That's
Pretty
amazing.
cool. That's pretty
That
cool.
is
that's my story, and I'm
People
sticking to
there
it.
in the Basin 3, a neat groundbreaking here. You mentioned the city council race. How you think that's shaping up? You got any endorsements?
No, I can't.
You endorse
No.
anybody? You can't do that?
I never have. I've been involved with this process for whatever, 10 years or so. And it's just the way it should be, is that people that are sitting on a commission or a council, when they have people that they're going to be sitting next to and negotiating with, not to endorse anybody. Let the process play its way out. And I'm excited. I think we have a lot of very good candidates. Yeah. And I would hope that they would take this as a vision forward to borrow less and get more grant money, and that we can pull ourselves out of debt. And I'm looking for a very prosperous future for the city of Shelton.
Very
Mayor
nice.
of Shelton Gary Cronce, good to see you, Mayor.
Thank you for having me, Jeff.